TV show say you're not one to usually leave me hanging on the air. Might as well leave the code to the. Well, Hello, folks. Mets2128 here. Still waiting for MegaManNG to get in so we can do this. For those wondering what we're up to tonight, we are supposed to be doing our picks for AEW's All Out 2022, which will be taking place from the Now Arena in suburban Chicago. 15 matches on this card. I don't know why Toni chooses to go with match quantity over match quality, but that being said, and it seems that Gabe don't want to do it. I don't know what's keeping Jose. If anyone wants to hop in, the link is into the yard is up if you want to come in or not. Okay, so while Jose is doing his monthly update, I got a rant on Clash the Castle. I was watching it in the CWF or Cosplay Wrestling Federation Troops Discord server. And while a good show, we did have a couple of things go a bit wonky. One, Dominic Mysterio finally turning on his father and Edge. Are they trying to do it because for an angle of seduction between him and Rhea Ripley? While I'll admit this is not as creepy as the Murphy Aaliyah angle from a couple of years ago during the Thunderdome era, I'm still a little weirded out by it. I mean, yes, Dom and Rhea are the same age, 25 years old. So there's not really much, maybe a couple of months between the two at the most. In terms of an age gap, when compared to the 13-year gap between Murphy and his sister, and Dom's sister, Aaliyah, which I found just one of many COVID plot threads that went basically nowhere during the Thunderdome era. And two, I am getting sick of Roman Reigns basically finding outs in situations where he shouldn't win. This time, it was the runt of the Uso litter, whose name escapes me, interfering and costing Drew McIntyre the Undisputed Universal title match. This is getting ridiculous. Hey, Roman, why don't you do the world a damn favor? Do the WWE Universe a favor and be willing to submit to a polygraph test that would prove that for the last 2 years, you've acted in conspiracy with Paul Heyman to manipulate match outcomes that enable you to keep the Undisputed Universal Championship. Because we know if you say no, the polygraph is going to say you're a fucking liar. And then when that happens, I want Triple H to give me a Fans Revenge Lumberjack match at Extreme Rules. Now, of course, it's not going on October the 8th. It's for Roman to be put in. Now, yes, this will not be for the Undisputed Universal title. But that being said, the fact that the title scene has been stagnant for the last 2 years because Vince and by proxy Hunter have been pushing Roman to bury everybody, at least until Cody gets back, whenever that happens. At the soonest, I have Cody coming back at the Survivor Series, and at the latest, I have him coming back at the Royal Rumble to challenge Roman and finally take those belts off him once and for all. Because I don't want to see Roman go up against The Rock with the titles on the line. I don't. Because it would be disgusting, it's criminally nepotistic, and negligent of the rest of the roster. You know what, Roman? You want me to acknowledge you? I do. Not as the tribal chief, but as a fucking coward, as a liar, a sociopath, and someone who treats his own family like slaves. That's what I'll acknowledge you as. So, Roman Reigns, fuck you to death as far as I'm concerned. When Cody finally gets those titles off you, you're going to blame everybody under the sun. Starting with your cousins, then Heyman, then Sammy. I mean, I'm surprised Karrion Kross didn't get involved in this match more than he did, outside throwing a water bottle at Drew. We know now that's the direction they're going to go with McIntyre for a bit. So who do I put in the fans' revenge match, if we even get that on October the 8th in Philly? Or the bigger question is, who do you pit against Roman on October the 8th in Philly? The only option I've got is Lashley. Left is Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, the WWE US Champion. And then after he beats Bobby, Cody comes back. And they set up a little program that leads into the Royal Rumble at the end of January. Which would be, let's see, January the 1st is a Sunday. So that means the Rumble will happen on either January 28th or 29th of 2023. I think. Let's see. So it would be the 20th or 29th for the Rumble next year. Let's see. WrestleMania weekend. Is there a difference between regular Easter and Orthodox Easter? I mean, honestly, is there? Well, there's that too, Storm Striker. But what's to say that in 2020, that at Extreme Rules in Philadelphia, Theory goes for the cash in again? Because you know the old saying, third time's a charm, and he gets cut off again. And I was at least partially right that Theory would try to cash in again, only to get brick walled. I mean, last time it was Brock Lesnar beating him up and with his own briefcase at the Slam. Tonight, the Clash. One punch from Tyson Fury. Theory, try handing the briefcase off to the ref before you get it to the corner, to the announce table, and make sure you're either one, wearing a helmet, two, got security with you, or three, at least be armed with a gun, though the latter most wouldn't happen. It was that stupid. But overall, I think Clash of the Castle was a great show. My match of the night for me was Walter, I'm not calling him Gunther, versus Sheamus, as we saw the reunion of Imperium, and the two went back and forth in a near 20-minute Donnybrook. If Sheamus's back didn't give out on him trying to go for that last bro kick, he would have won. Won the Intercontinental title. Sadly, didn't happen. Back gave out, got hit with the golden bomb, and then got decked with a clothesline to retain, like Walter, for him to retain it. But then again, with these cheap out of country shows, you know they're never going to swap the titles. It's rare in these instances. And you know what's worse? There's one more before the year ends. Another fucking Saudi show, Crown Jewel show in Saudi Arabia. I wish Vince never did the same thing the Bush family did. Lay in the bed with the fucking Saudis. Now, whether you're politically left-wing or...
Sorry I'm late because I had to do an update video and I had to record Minute Gap. And then I found out that my laptop is experiencing some audio issues because for whatever reason, the audio speakers start to have a sound like less than normal, which is not right. It's been like it for a while, and I'm hoping to figure out what's up.
Okay. Anyway, let's run down the All Out card.
Let's get started. This is AEW All Out.
From Chicago, their usual home base for this. Okay, first up are the buy-in matches, and I'm not going to lie, I hate the fact that 3 out of the 4 of these are title matches.
I'm not surprised.
First up, let's look at the only match. We'll start with the only match that's not a title match, but I think is a bit of a downgrade from when they fought back in May. Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. These are two guys who are basically two sides of the same coin. They were raised or inspired under the learning trees of both Genichiro Tenryu and Riki Choshu. Ishii being trained by them, Kingston inspired by them. Ishii taking their strong style roots, Kingston walking the King's Road path.
I see.
Ishii took the match in DC back in May, so I'm going to go Eddie to win the one in Chicago.
I go for Eddie too.
Okay, next up for the All-Atlantic title, Pac defending against Kip Sabian, who's been gone for months, hiding on his head under a damn cardboard box.
Let me guess, he's trying to be like Solid Snake.
I don't know. But I mean, if this was basically this whole gimmick behind him and Tony Khan coming to a settlement over his contract, it was a dumb way to do it.
Yes, it is.
That said, Kip did cost Death Triangle a shot at the AEW Trios titles when he got involved in their match against the United Empire.
Understandable with that.
So, who do I pick to win? I'm going to say the bastard gets his revenge on Superbad.
I vote on Superbad.
Especially since he is a Twitch gamer.
Yes, that's true. And I'm down with that. Too bad Twitch is a complete mess.
True. Next up, for the FTW title, Angelo Parker Private Party against Hook. 2 words, send Hook!
Oh, that would be fun. I send Hook as well.
Next up, the mixed tag. It's a mixed tag for the AAA mixed tag titles. Jericho Appreciation Society members and husband and wife couple, Melo and Sammy Guevara defend against Ruby Soho and Ortiz.
What's your vote?
To be honest, Ruby's been a bit of a glass cannon in recent months, and I'm not a big fan of. I mean, despite having tied the knot, I'm not a big fan of Tay and Sammy basically making out all the damn time.
Yeah, it's a bit gross.
But heels will be heels. I'll take Melo and Guevara.
Yep.
Now let's get to the main card. First up, excuse me, 6-man tag. House of Black. Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews against Darby Allin, Sting, and the Redeemer, Miro.
That's a toughie.
Same here. I mean, they hardly ever let Sting lose on a pay-per-view when he's on the card.
Yeah, they hardly ever do, but for what it's worth, he uses whatever time he has.
True. If they have to put him on the open card, so be it. I mean, let's face it, he's never getting a title while in AEW. So I'm going to take Allin, Sting, and Miro.
I vote the same way, too.
Next up, the Casino Ladder Match. Winner gets a future AEW World title shot. ROH World Champion Claudio Castagnoli. Ring of Honor Pure Champ Wheeler Yuta. Penta El Cero Miedo. Rey Fenix. Rush. Andrade El Idolo. Dante Martin. And a wild card to be determined. Whoever gets that poker chip gets a future crack at the AEW title. My guess, that's going down at Full Gear.
That's a tough one.
I mean, they're trying to push Dante Martin to the moon. Penta and Ray are established. Claudio and Wheeler have gold, so it makes no sense to give them the chip.
Yep.
Go with the brute. Which of the two OG members of the CMLL incarnate of Los Ingobernables do we go with?
That's a tough question. That's a very tough, because they're both pretty talented, very talented.
Too bad in my case, Andrade's dragged down by the fact that his wife is Charlotte Flair. Ugh.
Oh, I dislike Charlotte Flair. I am serious with that. I dislike Charlotte Flair with a passion.
You're not the only one, buddy. Let's see. El Idol, the man formerly known as La Sombra, or the White Bull?
I vote on the light bulb.
It's White Bull.
White ball, yeah.
Okay, I'll go with Rush as well.
Smart idea.
Next up, a 6-man tag. TNT champion Wardlow teams up with AAA, Ring of Honor, and IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions FTR to take on Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. I was not expecting Lethal to pick them because I thought the door between Impact and AEW got shut after last year.
Well, they are doing better now, thankfully.
True.
I like how the relationship has considerably improved.
Yeah, I mean, especially now that
because I wanted to say something on this, because I always used to remember that AEW wasn't in a good place, and I will admit they weren't. And I'm thankful that now they're working to make it better. That alone is good enough for me. The only thing I hope for is that, yes, things do improve.
That's for sure. This could go either way, but I'm going to go with Lethal and the Guns.
That's fine.
You're going the opposite?
Yes.
Okay. Ricky Starks against Powerhouse Hobbs. Team Taz has fallen to pieces.
Looks like he's proving to be a train wreck. Something has happened.
Yeah, Starks basically dropped the FTW title, I believe, to Hook.
Oh, that's a shame.
Hobbs basically got on his case for it, even though Hobbs was basically getting over. I mean, Starks was getting over.
Yep.
I say, let the momentum build for Ricky. Give him the W.
Yeah, I think he deserves that W, that's for sure.
Okay. Next up, I really didn't want to see this one. Fatal 4-way match for the Interim Women's Championship. Toni Storm, Britt Baker, D.M.D, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. The reason I didn't want this is because I would prefer Storm and Rosa going at it. But once again, the injury bug has bit AEW, and one of their top dogs is on the shelf. I mean, another interim title holder has to be picked.
The injury bug is merciless. And being a fatal 4-way, I expect something to happen. But like I said, things don't always go according to plan.
True. But the question is, who do you go with? I mean, Sheena and Baker cancel each other out since they're former champions. On paper, you would want to give it to the new blood like Toni or Jamie. However,
Yeah.
I don't see Tony Khan swinging that way. Do you?
I agree.
So, Baker, Storm, or Sheeta? Because I've crossed Hayter off.
I see.
I think I'm going to go Dr. Baker, D.M.D.
That's fair.
Which way
I go with that too.
Okay. Next up, grudge match. Christian Cage against Jungle Boy. In the interview last night, Jungle Boy said Christian was not going to be wrestling Jungle Boy. He was going to be fighting Jack Perry. I mean, considering how many pot shots Christian's taken at his father, late legendary 90210, the actor from the original 90210, Luke Perry.
Wow. Wow.
I don't blame Jungle Boy for breaking kayfabe in that moment.
I don't blame him either.
Throw in the pot shots Christian's taken at both Jack's mom and his sister.
That's a bit much. Very much.
True.
I think I know for a fact there's a lot riding on this.
But there's still the wild card in this. Luchasaurus. Which way is he swing? If he turned, I suspect that they could turn the big dino heel again and have him side with Christian and double cross his longtime best buddy if there's a ref bump. If that happens to be the case, I'm taking Christian. If not, I'll go Jungle Boy.
That would be my thoughts as well.
As well flip it. I haven't done this in a while. Heads, Jungle Boy. Tails, Christian.
I go heads.
Hit me in the head, and heads it is.
Go Fig.
So we're both going Jungle Boy?
Yes, indeed.
Next up, for the AEW World Tag Team titles, Swerve in Our Glory defend against the Acclaim, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. Whether or not Billy Gunn will be in their corner after his sons double-crossed him.
Only time will tell how this will turn out.
To be honest, I'm not a fan of the whole scissor me daddy joke.
That's inappropriate. That's just dumb. That is just so dumb. Yes, it is.
I'm going to take Swerve in Our Glory. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland.
I vote on Swerve of Glory, too. Keith Lee deserves at least something.
Next up, for the TBS Championship, Jade Cargill defends against Athena.
My vote's on Athena.
I'm going to go Jade. I mean, they've basically been setting her up like a female Goldberg of sorts. A dominant monster. So even if Athena gives Jade a run for the money, it's going to come up short. At least in my opinion.
Yep.
But if they're going to pull the trigger on a title swap, they've got to do it tomorrow night.
Yep, because it's now or never.
Got that right. Next up, Bryan Danielson against Chris Jericho.
That's going to be a classic.
Yeah, but the problem is they're both 10 years past their first match, 12 years past their first match.
Yeah, they're past their prime, sadly.
And throw in the amount of concussions Danielson has suffered over the past several.
Yeah, and the fact that he also retired.
Twice. Am I right?
Yep.
I'm worried about this matchup. Jericho could take every advantage to rock, sock, and knock Danielson's fucking head off.
Yep.
And that's before Danielson even gets a chance to kick Jericho's fucking head in.
I agree. I agree 100% on that.
My pick to win, though, I'm going to go with the Dragon.
Ah, yes, the Dragon himself. That's my vote as well.
Next up, the finals of the Trios title tournament. The Elite, Omega and the Bucks versus Paige and the Dark Order, represented by Alex Reynolds and John Silver. We all know the storyline has been a little 2 years overdue. Paige was kicked out of the Elite due to his drinking habit. So he fell in with the Dark Order, who took him in when he was down on his luck.
Habits are always hard to break.
Then they put him in a feud for a year with Kenny. That was supposedly supposed to end in July with him forfeiting his world title match against Kenny at All Out, which he did, but in reality that was because he was going to go. Hangman was going on paternity leave, so his wife could have their son.
I see.
And then Kenny lost the title at Full Gear. Kenny was on the shelf for the better part of 8 or 9 months, and he's still basically a walking wounded.
Wow.
But the question is, do we see the Elite go full heel again? Or do we see the Dark Order Hangman and the Order go full heel? I mean,
whoever loses is going to end up full heel regardless.
True. But I think it's more leaning towards the Elite going full heel because of one little pest. And that's that jackal, Don Callis.
Go fig.
Anyone who doesn't get the jackal reference, it was his character in WWE when he was part of the Truth Commission in the late 90s.
Now I really do feel old with that.
Me too. I mean, I turned 35 a week from Friday.
Wow.
Finally, the main event. Jon Moxley defends against CM Punk for the AEW World title. After a botched matchup last Wednesday that saw Punk lose in about 2 minutes due to a foot injury, he's back. And this time, he won't let down those in Chicago. Do you pull the trigger on him getting the belt back, or do you keep it on Moxley is the question.
For me personally, I think he needs to pull the trigger. They need to pull the trigger.
So do I. The question is Punk better when he's chasing or when he's got it? I mean, we all saw how the summer of Punk fell apart in 2012 when he was the WWE.
That was due to WWE interfering when they really shouldn't.
True. I mean, seriously, setting him up against The Rock at the Rumble, that was what really screwed over the summer of Punk.
Yeah, it did. Personally, they think they had no faith in it.
And the summer of Punk in 2022 basically stymied by the injury bug.
Injuries always suck.
That's the truth.
Ain't that a fact?
My pick will be Punk.
I put on Moxley.
You really think Khan's not going to pull the trigger?
On one hand, he should, but on the other hand, if he pulls the trigger too soon, it may be a problem. That's the thing.
So then Moxley would have to bury whoever wins the title shot in the ladder match at Full Gear.
Yep. That's right.
Talk about your double-edged sword with this pick.
Yep, that's right. It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least.
Before you got in, I was actually doing a bit of a rant on Clash of the Castle.
Why? Because I did see Clash of the Castle. It was all right. My only issue was, in fact, the ending.
Yeah, that was my issue, too. Throw in the whole turning Dominic heel, because I'm worried they're going the same angle they did with his sister a couple of years back.
My problem, I believe, with it is that they put too much faith in Roman Reigns. Don't get me wrong. His first few years were rough, but he did improve at least. but I feel that they put way too much faith in him.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically the Triple H Reign of Terror on steroids. At least with the Reign of Terror, they knew when to space out how often Triple H had the title.
Yes, they did. And it did allow for some good matches.
But this, it's just berry job after berry job after berry job.
Exactly. It needs to stop.
Great. We got a porn bot in here. I'm going to block it.
Do what has to be done, you know.
Whoop. I mean, seriously. It's still like Vince's Spectre reigns in the creative team with this.
Despite the fact that he's no longer in creative.
That's why I said his Spectre. I mean,
it's like Vince doesn't want to let go of what he worked on.
They're trying to buy time for Cody to get back. At the soonest he comes back at Survivor Series, the latest he comes back at the Royal Rumble. At least that's my timetable.
Yeah, the sooner he comes back, the better.
I don't even know where the Rumble is going to be held next year.
Yeah, because everything that has happened this year has been one big mess.
The only date I do know for the Rumble that's coming up, it's going to be January 28th or 29th.
Yeah, be right back.
Okay. Your mic's muted.
Oh, yeah, you unmuted my mic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had no idea. But like I said, if something happens to the gaming laptop, I'm just going to send it into Costco and hopefully I get a new one. So I don't have to deal with this. This is why I have my mom to help me out here. So anyway, so what is... okay, so what's going to happen next? Because we've already made our bets. Now we do is wait.
Well, other things that happened today in the wrestling world, the N1 Victory tournament wrapped up in Noah. Winner of it was Kaito Kiyomiya, and ironically And Muda also had one of his last matches in Osaka tonight.
I see. Looks like many wrestlers come and go.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason Keiji Muto, aka the Great Muta, is retiring, hip deformity. He's got 3 matches left before he leaves, before he hangs it up in the spring.
Indeed.
Today he was in a 6-man teaming with Nosal Rongai and New Japan's Great Okan against Kano, Tsuji Kondo, and Manabu Soya. Team Muto won, and then he missed it Okan.
Yep.
Which I found funny. Seriously, who is this damn porn bot?
They're always the worst. That's why I have stricter kinds.
That's true. Well, football season's right around the corner. Not sure if I'm going to call any Giant games since I live down.
Man, the Giants are going to be a freaking derp. They're still a derp.
True.
The only thing I hope for is that this season becomes more interesting than last year. Last year had a bit of ups and downs, but it's more or less wacky.
Yeah, blame Joe Judge at the back end for the game.
Not to mention the fact that at the very week 18, Roger needed that money badly after what happened in 2020. Not that I blame him, but the thing is with the NFL, they always want to get what they want, and they do whatever it takes too.
And besides, down here, it's Panther territory, so I'm going to be stuck watching Panther games all the time anyway.
The Panthers, they're really gonna have to pull off a full rebuild.
Yeah, I don't think Baker Mayfield's gonna cover it this year.
Baker's not gonna cut it. Although I worry more for Cleveland because they already let go of Baker Mayfield.
And their season's pretty much lost with Deshaun Watson suspended for more than half the year.
Deshaun should have been suspended for the entire season. Should have been suspended for the whole season to teach a lesson, to set an example.
Should have been barred from the NFL for life.
Yeah, that would have been better.
I guess the Browns are back in the doghouse, so to speak.
Yep.
I know, bad joke.
I know.
They can't all be gems.
Yes, indeed.
What's your opinion of the recent Ruby material that popped up that Ice Queendom series?
I have no opinion on that because I've never seen it, and the only reason why is it just ain't for me. Oh. It just isn't for me because Ruby was not the same when after Monty Oom's passing. Because after it passed down, it became a victim of meddling by Rooster Teeth,
and then throw in firings based on.
We don't need that. We don't need political crap on our shows. I want to watch shows for the sake of it, to have fun and have a good time.
True. But I mean, they weren't even being subtle in Volume 7 or 8. Trust me.
Nope.
Hopefully Volume 9 goes back to some level of basics.
Yeah.
But for the record, Ice Queen, it's just basically an alternative telling of Volumes 1 and 2, more or less.
Yep.
Or basically bits and pieces that were left on the cutting room floor when Monty was alive that he couldn't get in due to time constraints. Which was how the first 2 volumes were structured. I know, Storm Striker, but personally, Rooster Teeth has fallen off a cliff, and the only thing I even bother to watch them for these days is Death Battle.
Rooster Teeth did Screw Attack dirty. They shut it down. I loved Screw Attack growing up.
Same here.
The fact that they shut it down just to have it for Death Battle is just screwed up.
Got that right.
And not to mention, Handsome Tom left, and he's actually retired from making videos. He now works at a restaurant.
Which one?
I don't know, because according to one of Stuttering Craig's podcasts, it was revealed that Handsome Tom was done, and he now runs a restaurant. I'm trying to figure out which one it is.
Congratulations to him. Whatever happened to 8-Bit Mickey?
I don't know what happened to the others. All this is just tragedy when you think about it.
Got that right. Just for what? Power, money, control.
I don't know. What Rooster Teeth did was so screwed up. It's just not funny.
That was Attack. I thought that was Attack of the Show. That was part of the original G4 lineup.
Attack of the Show was in the original G4. Although my personal favorite shows in G4 are Cheat and Icons, or Game Makers as they called it.
I preferred when they started airing the Ninja Warrior tournaments.
Yeah, but that was also when things really were going to go downhill.
True. And then again, there was also that little morning anime block they had.
Oh, yes, I missed that. I missed the anime blocks they had. Those were some good times.
Even though, ironically, the only things that were quote-unquote anime anyway were Transformers Cybertron and G.I. Joe Sigma 6.
I'm surprised they aired Sigma 6.
Why? Because you're shocked that 4Kids didn't sue them for putting it on there?
Did they really?
No, I'm asking, you're shocked that they didn't.
I'm shocked that they didn't, but I had no idea that Hasbro would sue.
I said 4Kids, not Hasbro.
4Kids would sue. I'm surprised that 4Kids would sue. Why?
Beats me. Maybe they just didn't like getting more revenue and they wanted things on their screen, on their TV stations that they held a small grip on in the mid to late 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how badly things are going to pan out now for the other other companies. I mean,
only time will tell how this will go.
I mean, you heard that Vic recently started his own dubbing studio, right?
Yeah, since he was pretty much kicked out of Funimation. Although I always know that there was something about Vic, and the fact that he admitted what he did is even worse. But I always thought that the reason he was fired was because Monica Rial was jealous of Vic getting the main focus as Broly, and simply she wanted him out of the way. Turns out I was wrong.
But even then it's at least, I mean, coming out and admitting you did what you did, lesser of two evils when you had compared to other people who try to hide what they do.
Yep.
Which is why I think he gets more praise for it than the scorn than someone like, say, Damon Mills, DC Douglas, or even Sarah Weidenhoff's brother should receive.
Exactly. I agree.
I mean, that being said, I mean, you look at other guys that have gotten fired. I mean, for example, it took for El Guadarolia to get canned, someone dropping his story 2 years after the fact. With what he did. And they got fought, and they got rid of them pretty quick, did they not?
Yeah.
Or the guy who played the main character in High School DxD.
So true. And now I've been hearing about some stuff about other actors too, and it's messed up. Like Chris Niosi. And finding out that Kojima hated David Hayter. That's sad because I love David Hayter and his work.
What was the grudge about?
Basically, Hideo Kojima did not like David Hayter and during the development of Metal Gear Solid 5, A Phantom Pain, and he wanted a new actor. He originally wanted to have Kurt Russell, but instead ended up getting, how do I put this? Kiefer Sutherland of 24 fame.
The only things I remember Kiefer from these days are the Three Musketeers movie that Disney put out in the 90s and that anime adaptation of Watership Down, the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Kojima never had anything against Paul Eidling, did he?
I don't know if he did. But I know that he did like some of the other actors.
I'm thinking he was elated when he heard about what happened with Quentin Flynn, right?
I think so, yeah.
Believe me, trying to get making cons for Vic, finding a con for Vic to show up in down here has been difficult for me.
Indeed.
2 of the last 3 that I know of, well, one that was supposed to happen around my birthday and one in November have been scrapped because the venue's been putting too many COVID hoops for the con ops to operate.
It's never good at all. The whole pandemic threw a monkey wrench at everything. And
And
truth be
then-
told, I hate it.
A con in December I wanted him to show up at, they were worried that they were going to have to pay, because they're small, they were worried they were going to have to pay for Vic's lodging and travel expenses.
This is turning into a big fat mess.
Tell me about it. I mean, the only major VAs I met this year were Bear, Grant, Trans, Powell, McFarlane,
Indeed.
Spencer, Lindenbeck. I only talked to Mike briefly because I don't like the guy.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair, in my opinion.
I mean, the fact that the case for Vic got thrown out means that
Basically he lost.
I just heard they didn't want to do the case. In my opinion, that's a Pyrrhic victory for Kick Vic. They didn't prove that they did what he claimed, despite him admitting it, nor did they get him out of the industry altogether either. Sure, Monica and Ron get more money in their pockets, but that's about it.
Indeed.
Am I right?
Yep.
Well, I think we've covered all that we need to cover tonight, Jose.
Yes, indeed. It was pretty fun. At least
Yep.
all we can do now is wait.
Yep. Leave a comment, smash a like, sub to the channels. Mets 2-2A and MegaManNG signing out.
Peace
Goodbye
out.
and good night. Bang.
Bang, bang, bang.